My dear and lovely Sagittarius, this is your horoscope for November 2024. November will welcome us with new moon in your 12th house, most private house of the horoscope. On 1st November, we have new moon at 9 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 1st December, plus or minus 5 days, will be affected the most with this new moon. And this new moon will have very supportive energies of Saturn. Now, Saturn is planet of work and responsibilities and also restrictions. Will be situated in your 4th house, a family house, a real estate house, and it will support that new moon beaming from your 12th house of privacy. 12 houses are all those things that we do in solitude alone, and it seems like you will start something doing in solitude where you alone, because new moon is all about new beginnings. Whatever you start there seems like will stay forever with you, because Saturn is the planet of age. It's a no joke planet, and it seems like you will put a lot of efforts. And if you are planning to immigrate somewhere, this will be your new moon, and it will help you start the process but it will take long, because Saturn is playing very hard role there, but still it's supporting that new moon, meaning at the end of the day, you will immigrate wherever you put your vision on. Now, Saturn also in immigration house, because 4th house is also about immigration, and it seems like you will start that process secretly. You will start secretly planning, gathering documents probably, or applying to some things which are far, which are abroad, to move somewhere. Now, also new moon in 12 houses, 12 houses is about secrets. It might be that you might receive, or you might have a new secret project happening in your life that no one else will know. And your family even might also will be left out from that secret for some of you. But for some of you, it might be that you will share that something with your family, but then they will support it, especially financially. They might be giving also financial support to you. And if you're buying a real estate, there is a possibility for some Sagittarius that you're buying a real estate somewhere far, somewhere near nature, secluded, and your family might be helping, especially your father, like your parents, your mother, and their financial help will be very appreciated by you, my dear Sagittarius. For some of you, it might be about your mother situation. It might be that your mother could move somewhere far, or to some retreat, going to some religious pilgrimages, for example, or to rest as an option, to boost their immune system, or to some sort of relaxed treatments. There is a possibility too, because new moon is happening exactly in the rest house, and Saturn that is supporting that new moon is in your house that rules your mother. Now, for the most of the month, there is one tension between Pluto and Mars that will be ongoing and fading by the beginning of December. But that tension will be exact on 3rd November. So avoid 3rd November for whatever important meetings, and romantic and business-wise. Pluto is the planet of transformation, will oppose Mars. And Mars is planet of war and aggressive a bit planet. Now, those two will be in your financial houses. Whatever tension, this is opposition. And it seems like it's about relationship. And it seems like it might be that your relationship with banks, or with the financial institutions, or some funding for your project, for your purchases, like house purchases or car purchases, and those who financed it, those who you take loan from, or that you have money that you owe to, they will be in opposition to you. You will have a hard time navigating that tension, seems like. Because, Mars is in 8th house. Now, 8th house is all about other people's money, whether it's a bank money, whether it's investment or inheritance, or some other people money who help you, like your friends' money or alimony, for example, or scholarship for some of you guys. And Pluto will be in your income house. and those won't be matching. And second house is that Pluto is occupied is also about material possessions, expensive possessions like jewelries or cars or real estate. And it seems like there will be tension between you and those people. Now, there will be a bunch of other planets that they will try to solve the problem, that tension between you and these other people who help you with money or institution or governmental institutions. Those planets will be Neptune, Uranus, and Mercury. They will try to save this relationship. And, in terms of your family, the universe is hinting to listen to your family, to work hard, because Uranus is in your house of work. And Mercury is in your house, of marriage. If you are married or if you're in a long-term relationship, then try to listen to your sweetheart, long-term partner also, or business partner. Those three people, you will need to listen for advice and try to communicate calmly that tension between you and governmental institutions or any financial institutions. But because that tension will be around money, seems like, my dear Sag. Now, November 4th will be one of the biggest transits. Mars will change signs for the next 2 months and even more until next year, summer almost. Mars will stay in your 9th house because it will retrograde in December. Now, when Mars retrogrades, meaning slows down, everyone is hesitant, everything is slow, everyone is slow. So whatever you have in your mind, try to start in this month, November. When Mars moves into your 9th house, it activates all things travel, all things immigration. It seems like if you put your mind to immigrate somewhere, do those papers now. You will have all the power with Mars in your 9th house to move mountains, to move those papers to conclusion, getting travel visas or passports or green cards, whatever is that related to travel that needs, those papers, seems like will move faster when Mars moves into your 9th house. For those of you who are studying, Mars in your 9th house will ignite your researching abilities. Seems like you will have a lot of things to research and study about. Your educational journey might become more active when Mars goes into your 9th house. The 9th house is also about publishing. Those of you who are avid writers, like writing book or researching, writing an article, whatever related to writing, Mars here will give you courage to contact that publishing house or editors, whatever is that you're doing or been trying to publish your book, then Mars will give you that courage to take that step, my dear Sag. 15th of November will be one of the biggest days of November because two huge things happening there. November 15th, Saturn goes direct in your 4th house. It was moving backwards. It was retrograding since 29th of June. So for the last half year, now Saturn was retrograde in your 4th house, giving you retrospective thoughts, like background thoughts, like mental thoughts. It's more like an influence on mental level, popping up time to time in your mind, thoughts around your family, around your mother especially, and also around your real estate and your immigration situation, because all those things are 4th house. But now when Saturn goes direct, it seems like you might take up some actions around those topics, more definite actions, and you might finally make up your mind. If before you've been hesitant and doubtful around those topics when Saturn was retrograding, now when Saturn moves direct, you will be more clear and you will know more what to do next around your family, around your real estate, or relocating somewhere, calling somewhere as your new home, my dear Sag. November 15th, second thing which is big will be happening is full moon. Now full moon will happen in your 6th house. Now 6th house is all about work, all about health. And this full moon has element of surprise and shock, because Uranus, planet of surprises and shock, will unite forces with this full moon. And that surprising and shocking news will be positive, most importantly. Those of you who are born 16th of December will be affected the most, because it will happen at 24 degrees, so plus or minus 5 days around that day. Those Sagittariuses will be the most affected. And it's so like happy news, but at the same time shocking. That's how Uranus likes it to serve, because it's a planet of surprises. Now, two other planets will support full moon and Uranus. Those are Neptune and Pluto. You see, this Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, they are all karmic and heavy planets. Whatever will be happening around full moon, it seems like it's more like of a fated events that are meant to be, but they will be shocking and surprising. But remember, positively surprising. This is the main thing. Positivity, my dear Sagittarius. That's what we need in life, because that's your sign of faith and sign of positivity. That is amazing. Full moon seems like will be, and full moon happening in your 6th house, so it seems like it might be a promotion at work, or something that you earned from your hard work, because full moon is a culmination to something. All of a sudden, some sort of event is happening there, and it seems like you might be signing a paper there also. Some sort of contractual agreement might be happening around your money or real estate or possessions, like jewelry, for example, expensive possessions. Now, 6th house is also house of all people that serve to us, like, for example, nannies at home, or anyone who is under us at work, your assistant. They might suddenly announce that they are leaving the company, but somehow you will be also positive. It might be sad, but more likely that you will be positive about this decision. Also, 6th house might be that you all of a sudden might quit your job, but at the same time you will be so happy that you quit your job, sort of. For some Sagittarius, might be also this kind of news events are happening. With Uranus, you never know, what is gonna be. But I'm just trying to give you some examples. Now, 6th house is also house of health. And if you had some sort of issues there, those well-being, physical health issues will get resolution. All of a sudden, miraculous resolution, like magical one, almost like you can't believe sort of things might happen, and you will be super happy about that, my dear Sagittarius. Or, 6th house is also house of solving problems. If you had some sort of some issue there, that issue might sort of all of a sudden solve itself. You won't believe in it, and it will be so positive. Anyhow, this full moon will have positive effects in your life, my dear Sag. November 19th, we have another big transit happening. Pluto is changing signs. It's moving into your 3rd house. This is an event of our century, not even of this month, because Pluto will never go back into your 2nd house in our lifetime. Pluto spent, in your 2nd house last 16 to 15 years transforming your relationship with money, your earning skills, your approach to earning money, and your, most importantly, self-esteem and self-worth, because those things are related. Don't you think? How we, we love ourselves, that's how we earn money. That's how much we earn money. That's what Pluto was teaching you for the last 16 to 15 years. But now when Pluto moves into your 3rd house, it will transform your communication style, your brothers and sisters relationship between you and them, or your relatives, or their life specifically, if it's not the relationship that you have. Or, 3rd house is also house of all sorts of agreements, all sorts of, it's our courage house. It's a bravery house. Pluto will teach you a couple of lessons, how to get things done, how to be brave, to learn some new skills, to take up some new courses, to upgrade your skills, to fight for your new, let's say, future. Third house is also, actually people who we talk to and through what we talk, like communication, telephone, computers, all these things, like any sort of information is third house. Now, information is being the greatest treasure nowadays. Pluto will give you a couple of lessons how to use information that you have, and also third house is all about trade and commerce. It might be that for the next 20 years, you might start a business around that, like trading business, for example. Also, third house is something that we do by hands, with hands, like writing or sewing or, I don't know, baking, like cooking or playing a guitar or creating something from scratch with our hands. And it seems like for the next 20 years, you might learn a couple of skills like that. So Pluto will transform your third house completely, and how you, let's say, think, your thought processes, because third house is exactly all about that. Now, 26th of November, Mercury, a planet of communication and writing, reading, all sorts of information, will move retrograde, meaning moving backwards in your first house. Now, when Mercury retrogrades, it's not advisable to do any plastic surgeries or any planned surgeries. If you have unplanned surgery, of course, or emergency, we do them. But if you have planned surgeries and plastic surgeries, try to avoid them during Mercury retrograde. And also, when Mercury moves backwards, we try to avoid signing important papers or buying something which is like technological, like telephones, TVs, because those things, or computers, then you might not like them, or something might be wrong with them, like all sorts of mix-ups, and especially with numbers and informations, happen during Mercury retrograde. And those things will be very important and try to avoid, and plan all the travels or all your things properly, with double checking, triple checking all the numbers and dates, and specifically signing those contracts. And because Mercury is happening in your first house, try to not to change your style or your haircut, because if you do so, you might not like it, and you will have to wait until, for example, your hair grows back so that you will change it. So better to avoid those mistakes now, because it's happening in your first house, house of appearance, how you look, Try to stay as you now. So do all the changes after Mercury goes direct, my dear Sag. Don't forget to check your rising sign, moon sign. Most usually, rising sign is the strongest that affects us, but for some people is moon sign, depending on your time of your birth. But check all three and compare which one affecting you the most right now in your life. Stay tuned for Pluto in your third house movement, separate video, because this is a huge topic. It's a huge shift of our century. I will make a whole separate video on that. Stay tuned and love you all. Bye bye.